Draw me closer to your side. Take your page out of my story. I don't mind. No. Move. Keep it steady, never falter.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan Baird with the Rumination Project, and we are to our 5th episode of the Psychonaut Files presented by the Rumination Project. And as always, my co-host Rhino here. How you doing today?
I'm awesome and getting better. Sorry about the motorcycle going by.
And we're going to share this out a little more, get this into some groups. Got tag some people in here. I've been sharing out to a couple groups here already. And tonight's subject is going to be awareness. We're going to talk about not just about awareness, but how magic mushrooms or psychedelics in general, affect awareness.
Awesome.
We get a little music going, so it's not so quiet. What's going on, Vicky?
Hi, Vicky.
Get those reactions in and get us raised up in this algorithm here so we can get some people in here and have a little educational party.
Absolutely.
Get educated and have a little fun. And as always, I got one last half cup of coconut oil to give away. And I guess I can take that banner down. And we will put up the other banner to give away this last half cup of coconut oil so that I can have it all given away here. And we'll get that giveaway going here. Had some good positive feedback from people who got it. So it is some good stuff. And as always, it is going to be the hashtag will be, I have it written down, just making sure, green leaf herbal, as always. And we gave away one on Waylon's show the other day, so no, I gave that away on his show. I still have one last thing to give away here, so green leaf herbal, there we go. So that is active now. If you guys want to throw that up there, green leaf herbal. Actually, let me put that as not the ticker. It looks better like that. There we go. I'll get you in that giveaway, and we'll give away that. Vicky loves that coconut. I appreciate it, Vicky. How you doing today? I'm gonna start tagging some people in here. We're also live over at Misfit Island. All you Misfitters over there, appreciate you all joining us. I'm just trying to get back to my personal page. There we go. But it is Thursday. It is a pretty beautiful day out today. The weather's pretty phenomenal here in the Wind West. It's not too hot, not too cold. How is it where you're at?
Rebecca. Hi, everybody.
How's the weather where everybody's at today? Everybody gets some beautiful weather.
It's been pretty sunny all day. It's pretty nice. We went to Springfield today and donated plasma. It was a pretty nice day for it. Wasn't too hot. I sat out. We go to two different places. So I sit out in the car while she goes, and she sits out in the car while I go. So it wasn't too bad today. Neither one of us had to turn the air conditioner on.
All right.
Hi, Ted. Welcome in, everybody. Glad you're all here tonight. Hey, Gillen.
We're going to talk about an interesting subject tonight about awareness and exactly what awareness is and how it affects our lives from day to day, because it's kind of kind of hard to explain in a way, I guess you could say, what awareness really is. Because everybody's awareness is so different than somebody else's. We're all living our own perception of life, and depending on what you live in.
Hi, Dennis.
It's the great thing about being human. We can all make different choices in our life and all live such very individual lives, and but it also affects our awarenesses too, you know.
Absolutely. I'm going to talk a little bit later too about mindfulness, which is thinking about the present moment, on purpose without judgment.
Right? And if I'm tagging you in and you can't stay, hit that reaction button for me anyway. Just getting out to my the normal people that kind of stop in here.
Did you tag her, Vicky? Yeah, I did see that, and that's awesome. Oh, Becca tagged her. Thanks, Becca.
What's going on, Steve-O?
I got you. Hey, Steve-O. Much love, brother. Get your gourmet and healing mushrooms from Great River Great. But yep.
Hopefully you're feeling better today, somewhat, you know. They helped you.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Cindy?
Hi, Cindy.
Man, I got a little tan. I got a little tan today. I can see it on the camera now. I was out in the sun. I forgot my sunblock, and I'm like, 30, 40 minutes away from my shop, so I had to just deal without sunblock. Shoulders got a little burnt. Yeah. But I got to enjoy being outside. The house I'm working at's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Nobody living there at all right now, so it's quiet and just get to be with nature and work a little bit.
Awesome.
Might take more. How you doing, creative? Ted, how you going? How's it going? Becca, thank you for sharing. Appreciate it.
There you go, Steve-O.
I just took a microdose myself, Steve. It's kind of hitting me right now. That's why I'm kind of having trouble putting my words to my mouth. It feels like, because it always is weird when it hits you, when the microdose first affects you, and you can start to feel its effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took one. I guess it's about an hour or two ago, something like that. Just little piece.
I read a really good quote about this tonight that basically just explains what awareness really is. When you are unaware, by definition, you're not aware, you're unaware. I thought that was a really intriguing thing, because we all live in our own perception of the world, and when you're unaware that you're unaware, it goes a lot deeper, and into your perception of life. It's harder to go navigate life. And awareness is such a self-awareness itself is such a strong, we go through self-awareness our whole life. It's a journey of self-awareness and learning about ourselves and our brains. And I think the more you are aware of that that unawareness can go away. But I read that quote and I thought that was interesting, that you're actually unaware that you're unaware.
Yeah,
and you're not aware that. It's so hard to say you're not aware, you're unaware. You have to say it like that.
I know, and it's some of them quotes like that, they have so much profound meaning to them. Like another one, sometimes you got to be uncomfortable until you're comfortable. Something like that. It kind of sounds like it contradicts itself, but if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
And another quote I read too that was really important about awareness. Life is really about being in the right place at the right time. But how do you know if you're in the right place if you don't have the awareness to know that? That's an important thing to notice, because you may be in the right place at the wrong time or at the right time, but do you know it? Maybe you lack that awareness to actually know that you're in the right place. And I think that's important to not only know your own journey and of your life, and know when the moment comes, and to jump on it. Be aware of that moment.
And that's why, I mentioned mindfulness, and want to talk about that a little bit tonight too. Because mindfulness, like I said, is, being mindful is thinking about the present moment on purpose without judgment. And, it helps. Hi, sunshine. How's Holly tonight? And sometimes our wandering minds can throw different thoughts at us at a time, and we get distracted by these different distracting thoughts.
I'm not laughing at you, Elisa May. I think we're all weird, so I'm awkward. So
right. But if we're mindful about them thoughts and try to grab onto them, sometimes we can be aware of what it actually is trying to tell us, especially our bodies. Our bodies send us a lot of messages.
It's never too late to be, better jump on the moment. Your brain is always capable of change, and I'm living proof of that. I mean, I was in a really dark place 4 years ago, and I completely turned it around. I'm still on the journey, but you can change your life in a very short amount of time, profoundly.
Absolutely.
When you become aware of what's wrong, you have to be like, become aware of your own issues, like self-awareness really is. And that's really hard in today's society, to be self-aware, because a lot of us just lack the time to even to do it,
So many distractions.
Yeah.
And the whole world, people, a normal person, I'm not working right now, but a normal person, has got a job, kids, cars and stuff, all these different things that they got to worry about and make sure that they maintain, not to mention their mental health and physical health, so there's a lot of distractions in life.
Right. What's going on, Steven?
Being in the present moment is really where the key is for me, because this is where I'm living right now in the now. I'm not living tomorrow. I'm not living yesterday. I'm living right here in the now. I mean, I will be, and I was.
Yeah.
But right now is where the important moment is.
And that's the one thing that today's Thursday. My day, I kind of took a really strong microdose this morning to kind of prove the effects that they bring to awareness. And on the drive home tonight, I felt like I was fully, in the moment. I had control of my vehicle. I was driving down the road. My mind wasn't wandering. I was enjoying just being, in the moment. And, we tend to not just do things out of, our subconscious just takes control, and we just do things without really even monitoring what we're doing.
Oh, sure.
And was it you last night that mentioned to me about actually stopping and chewing your food? And
yeah.
I did that, and I was like, wow, this actually works.
That's mindfulness.
It actually makes you slow down eating.
Yes, that's mindfulness. And the funny thing is, I was taught that on how to smoke a cigarette. We was taking 2 cigarettes out to the smoke break in rehab. Yeah. And the counselor, she said, we'll have one mindful cigarette. And she says, think of every drag. Think of how it's going down your throat, how it feels. Think of that sensation. And I did. I didn't want the other cigarette. I was good, and just like that eating, you slow down and you enjoy it more.
Lisa, you seem pretty normal to me.
Hey, Mike.
You're aware of your insecurities and everything else. I call you pretty normal. You're not hiding under anything, that's why I think it's important that you're a pretty awesome person, at least. I don't think
you're normal. You're real people, Lisa, and you're open and honest and vulnerable about what's going on with you, and that's that's great. Nothing weird about that. If that's weird, then sign me up. Here I am.
Yeah, for sure. That's when the deepest part of when I was in my depression was when I was the least aware. Like my awareness level was at a 0 when you were in the deepest part of mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Just so unaware of everything.
Sure.
If you put a number on it, it's -5 on a scale.
Yeah.
And, you start to think things that aren't true, and then that's why being awareness is really good for your mental health. Being truthful and honest with yourself when you become aware of it,
I live by a lot of different cliches and sayings I learned in AA, and one of the biggest ones was the 3 A's: awareness, acceptance and action. First, I become aware of what the issue is, what it is I need to deal with. Then I accept it as it is, you know, and that I need to deal with it. And 3 is I take action to do so. Whatever way that may be.
Sunshine, you're on the right episode for that, or not episode, but podcast. We do have a lot of previous podcasts too that talk about microdosing as well. And if you want to look back into our catalog, I had 2 episodes with Steve-O, our first 2 episodes, and we went over a lot of what microdosing really did. So if you want to look back at some of those episodes.
Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Colin. I like what you said, Colin. That's a good way to live by.
Right. Well, we'll start playing one of these videos too, because I like to talk about like what is awareness, like the definition of awareness, so we can, you know, further go down that road here.
Creative, we're in 7 different places actually. We're on my Rasta Rhino page. I'm not sure where Holly's at.
Probably YouTube channel would be the best way, because they're all the videos are in one place on the Rumination project on
The
YouTube.
Rumination project.
If she wanted to watch any previous videos, I mean.
Oh, okay. No, she couldn't see other people's comments.
Oh.
She was wondering where we were streaming to from. The Misfit Island, Rasta Rhino page, Ruminating.
Everybody's commenting from all different places. We got people all over. I was turning down the music. Oh, I already popped it up.
Right on, Holly. Glad you're here, hon. I've been with Dan, I guess, a few weeks now, and it's been awesome. I learned a lot, Holly, from him about the mushrooms. He asked me to be a co-host a couple of weeks ago. You know, we make a good team as far as, you know, talking about mental health and recovery. You know, and he's the one that knows most about the recovery according to magic mushrooms and regular mushrooms, not just magic ones. You know, because I take lion's mane as well. And lion's mane has made my focus, my depression, anxiety down a little bit. I have real high anxiety, so it takes a lot to do that. But it's knocked it down quite a bit. So, you know, it's working on a lot. My focus is the main thing I'm noticing in the first 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks. I'm on week 4. So, you know, I'm looking forward to see how the long-term effects are going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been longer than a few weeks. Time flies, but I think it's been more like 4, 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I appreciate you.
July, I mean.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on here, though. I'm having fun and helping some people, so that's good.
So let's play this short little 3-minute video here about what is awareness. It's really a good explanation of. It also kind of explains the deeper meaning of, you know, spiritual awareness.
Right.
Awareness is one's very capacity for experiencing. As such, it is primary to all life and all of existence. Are you alive? Are you awake? Are you conscious?
I'm not awake every day.
How do you know? Awareness is being and knowing. Without awareness, nothing could be known or even said to exist. All perception through the sense faculties is dependent on something greater than itself. The body cannot perceive itself. If it were not for the mind, how would one know that one even had a body?
Right? Truth.
And the substrate, the ground, the foundation of the mind is pristine awareness, ever present and unlimited. Awareness is life. How do we know that I am, and I know that I am, is awareness? Becoming aware of one's awareness is of prime importance to all spiritual truth seekers in this modern age. Only pure awareness can state that it is beyond all concepts, such as existence or non-existence, for without it, there would be nothing to experience form. The radiance of divinity is the very light of awareness that allows for the appearance and unfoldment of the visible universe, creation, and evolution. Turn the mind inward upon itself, and there is beingness, isness, consciousness, I amness, pure presence, pure awareness. You are that. To the mystics, only their inner level of awareness is real.
I think those were the 7 stages of
The
awareness.
observable world is like a dream or illusion. Such a recognition is the essence of enlightenment.
It's interesting too to think about the if you think about a bigger awareness of what we are in this universe, like we're literally, humans floating on this round sphere, floating through this vast universe that probably more than likely has other species in it. There's that bigger awareness and your self-awareness, how when I go outside, I really like going outside at night because it makes me aware of how small I am when I look up at the sky, and like my problems, are so small compared to what this vast world is. And it really helps calm me down a lot, that, having that kind of awareness.
Yeah. I want to touch on that phrase, I am. A lot of times, guys, you'll say, how are you doing? And I say, I am awesome and getting better. Because compared to where I was in life, I am awesome. Thank God to recovery. And I'm always trying to improve, and getting better. That's a mantra I have. And it starts with I am. And it started from a video actually similar to that. And also my spiritual sponsor was also one that taught me that. And he also taught me because, I know in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, they tell us, to say, hey, I'm Bruce, I'm an alcoholic. Well, I stopped saying that because I started identifying myself as that phrase. First off, foremost, I am Bruce Reinheimer. I speak person first language. I live with bipolar disorder. I live with anxiety. I live with ADHD. I live with alcoholism. I don't define myself as those things, because if I say I am, then I'm defining myself as I am bipolar, and I'm naming myself bipolar, or whatever that last part may be. So I always say I am awesome and I am getting better, and I live with mental health challenges rather than I am those mental health challenges. So I just want to touch base with that, and it kind of helps that mindset, and it's a little bit of mindfulness, trying to catch myself saying that, and it helps you with, coming out of that self-stigma, and it gives you a little bit of self-awareness.
Yeah. Self-awareness is kind of crazy. I'm kind of more self-aware than anybody I know. I kind of doing psychedelics for 3 years. I'm really in tune with my body and my mind, even though I have a lot of insecurities and a lot of issues I still have to resolve. I kind of know when they hit. I kind of know the boundaries and, insecurities and what. So the last 2 years, I've become a lot more aware of how, of who I am. And I think it really, really has helped me become a happier, better person.
That's awesome.
And that's hard to do. People don't want to, face who they are. And, the biggest self-awareness that really tremendously helped me is understand why I got bipolar. It was literally the fact that I had a lonely childhood, and that's what it was. I wasn't beaten as a child. My parents tried to love me, but it was still pretty lonely. And just being aware of that fact right there can lead to a lot of healing down the road when you understand that, Oh,
sure. And the brain naturally wants to know that question, why? You know, it's just a natural instinct to the brain. A human brain says, "Why? You know, why?"
Yeah.
And
I would have never.
and
I would have never
that's
gotten.
the best part of awareness. You find out why.
And the other the fact that I'm aware of too is I would have never become aware of that without magic mushrooms, like what they did and how they helped me become aware of that. I would have never gotten anywhere else. I didn't even know how to meditate. Like meditation before mushrooms, there's no way my mind could have even approached it because I had so bad anxiety that it was hard for me to even sit down
Sure.
and breathe. And now I understand it more. I know that meditation means a lot more than just sitting down. It can mean listening to music, which I do a lot more of.
And just to put this out there, guys, meditation is great, and just if you sit down and try to meditate and you can't do it, but maybe for a half a minute or a minute, don't give up. Just keep at it. Your mind will get used to it, and you'll get used to that after a while. Just find you a nice quiet place and just sit there and think about nothing.
Remember, music does help. There is certain music that can help you clear your mind, and there are some good videos on YouTube you can watch about what meditation really is. We'll probably do an episode about that in the future, but people are really confused about what meditating is, and it's really about clearing the mind and raising your awareness level to think about internally about who you are, what you're doing here, and do things that get you excited about life.
And that's where mindfulness I mentioned and awareness come into play. And there is a difference, but where those two come into play when you're sitting there in your meditation. That's a step in the 12 steps of recovery called the 11th step, as we saw it through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with the God of our understanding. Well, we just take that out and use the principles, prayer and meditation. So I pray to talk to my higher power, the God of my understanding, and I meditate so I can find answers, because I get that awareness, and I'm sit there. I have that self-awareness. I don't do as much as I used to, and I started doing it just recently. Since me and Dan have been working together, and it's really helped. It slows my mind down. It lets me focus a little bit better, and I couldn't there for a long time. The lion's mane actually helps me slow down a little bit. So does getting stoned a little bit.
This is the two people in the how do you slow your mind down? The first thing to do is to really get your gut bacteria under control. A lot of mind wandering and anxiety is created in your gut, and it goes to your brain, and it allows you to kind of have a squirrel mind. It's hard to sit down, and now that I mushrooms, I really, really understand that, because the mushrooms have even helped me understand that. They've helped me understand the importance of how having a healthy gut bacteria is to having a healthy mind. And that's why, we have a lot of mental health issues. I believe it's 80% of the issues are in the gut. And the first thing you have to do is correct that. And I think you can have profound effects. So probiotics, prebiotics, and lion's mane really, really help, can help regulate that to a point where maybe you can sit down and meditate. Because I found once I started getting my gut under relief, I found that I actually could sit down more and calm my mind.
And there's a lot of breathing techniques too, Holly, that helps slow down, or everybody that slows down.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned, and I use this all the time, it's called elongated breathing. I breathe in through my nose.
Going on, Grassroots?
And this is, when I was working at the crisis detox center, it was really, sometimes I would have to step off and I would have to get in the bathroom, do a quick 2 or 3 minute meditation. And I would do some elongated breathing. I would breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the breath coming out of the mouth was longer than the one going out. So I'd go like 3 in and 4 out. 3 seconds in, 4 seconds out. And that would let me, is what that does is it allows your brain to get the proper amount of oxygen, and allows your brain to work right, and that stress level starts to come down, because that's what it does. It helps lower that stress level, because that's usually why we're anxiety, because of stress.
Yeah, and the good squirrel brain, yeah. And they're actually finding a lot more science. Like the fact our stomachs are a lot. 50 years ago, they thought our stomach literally just digested food and then spread nutrients, but now they're finding out it's way more complex than that. It actually like holds the center of our mental health, because the way it absorbs our food is how we, our consciousness is kind of, put out there. We eat healthier, we have a better consciousness and a better perception of life, and we feed it garbage, our bodies react in a really bad way. And now they're finding out that our gut is just as essential as a component as our actual brain.
Try that elongated breathing while you're sitting there by yourself, Holly. Just try it for, a couple minutes and see if that helps next time you're in that anxiety mode.
I've read that information in a few other places too. Breathe like that.
Yeah, if you guys had a squirrel brain, I love that. If you guys hear me talking about squirrels, that's what I've named mental health. If I talk about my squirrel food, that's just my medicine, because it takes the stigma away and gives a little laugh, and
well, at least
easier to talk about.
We both have bipolar, so we kind of have squirrel brains, but that's where a lot of my creativity comes from. Like, and
Sure.
Sometimes the creativity just flows out, and then you're like a creative thought comes and goes, and you're like, damn it, that was a good idea, but I can't remember what it was. Those are like our all day with people who have bipolar minds just aimlessly wandering.
And the more I try to regain that thought, the longer or the farther away it gets.
Yeah.
It's like trying to chase a squirrel. You're not going to catch it. But if you sit down and be quiet, maybe sometimes it'll come back around to you. Sometimes.
And I'm unfortunately finding that sometimes you're most creative when you're actually coming out of a bad mental place.
Yeah.
It's really weird how the brain works, but creativity can come from a darker place as well.
One of these days I want to do a rap presentation, that rap program I was talking about. It's an action plan that helps a lot with mental health. Maybe not on here. I'll do it on a set because it'll take about an hour or two. It'll take the whole show up. But I'll do a presentation. I can refer people to it.
I wonder who the Facebook user is.
What's your name, Facebook user? We want to know who you are.
You might not even know he's that.
It might be. Who knows where they're at?
I never have to put that.
We don't.
I never have to put that thing out there. I wonder why some people would have to do it. I don't understand.
And let me clarify that, Facebook user. You do not have to give me your name. I was just saying, Rose. Oh, hi, Rose.
What's going on, Rose?
I was just being silly, but I'm glad it's
coming over here as Facebook user.
Let me see if I can put the link down there.
Don't work for me. This is Shannon. Do we have two Facebook users? We got two Facebook users.
All right, guys, there's the link. I don't know if it...
It links under all our profiles.
Yeah, I know.
Can't miss it now.
If it doesn't pop up as highlighted, just copy it and put it in your browser and just give them, it takes a couple seconds, just give them permission. If you don't have to, but if you want to. But if you don't, you won't be able to get on the giveaway because for some reason it won't pick up Facebook users on the hashtag.
Interesting. We got 9 people in the giveaway. Don't forget to get in the giveaway. It's for the Greenleaf Herbal infused coconut oil. Stuff's really good. It's already infused and activated, so you can use it as lotion or in food. And hit those reaction buttons too if you're in here. We got 14 people watching. Don't forget to hit those reactions.
Or if your spouse is up to it, you can use it as lotion and food.
Yeah, it's probably good for just about anything, but I'd probably rather eat it because it's pretty potent. 16 milligrams per teaspoon, so that's a good amount.
Yeah, it sounds like it's good, and I've heard the people, commenting here that it's good. I know Vicky likes it.
Yeah, there's a few people who've gotten it now. And I have to ship out another one for Joshua Schaefer. He won one the other day.
Holly, for StreamYard, sometimes every so often, person will have to go in there and give them permission to see their comments. Or see their name. I don't know why. It's just something StreamYard does. Otherwise, it'll come up Facebook user, and then whoever the Facebook user it won't identify them whenever they hashtag for any giveaways. So it's just a little quick thing. They hit that link and it takes them to another page, and they click permission, yes, granted, whatever, and then come right back. Like I said, you don't have to, but if you want in the giveaways, that's what you'll have to do.
Didn't mean to start the video.
It should still be in, Jeremy, but it's green leaf herbal.
Yeah. You got 10 entries now.
I had that comment. So there it is. Green leaf herbal.
But now that we've kind of assessed awareness, we'll play this little short video of self-awareness. And now that we've really understood self-awareness, but we'll play this little thing and then we'll discuss a little more.
Before you do you have the mindful thing, or do I need to find it again because I shut it off?
No, I saved it.
Okay, cool.
No, I saved it. It's in here, in my awareness file here.
Okay, cool. As long as you got it, ain't got, because it's hard when I pop it up over here. It don't always come back up when I'm on StreamYard.
Yeah, well, I got fiber over here, so I can run it pretty easily in the.
Yeah, I got shitty Wi-Fi.
Oh, wrong one. There we go.
Being authentic requires that you first be aware that you are a creative and conscious being.
I am here.
A created self. Awareness is
everybody
observant.
here tonight? Is everybody
being able to
aware?
objectively watch what's happening inside of you as if it was happening to someone else. It is the observer that is in each of us. We are all born aware. As we grow, our sense of self-awareness develops and allows us to observe at a deeper level what we think, what we feel, what we say, and what we do. Consciousness is a part of your awareness that eventually branches off as it becomes shaped by the sources of influence in our everyday lives. Parents, teachers, peers, and even society as a whole. It is how we normally experience ourselves and how we think we are perceived by the world around us. Being self-conscious, which is fueled by a fear of rejection, is when we make judgments about ourselves based on our own perceptions, as well as how we think we're being perceived by others. When we're being self-conscious, it's typically characterized by what we call our monkey mind, internal dialogue, or our negative self-talk. I'm not as smart as most people.
Bipolar people have this really
I'm not
bad.
good enough.
Yeah.
I'm too fat. My nose is too big. I'm too this. I'm too that. I'm always. I never. Does any of this sound familiar? Have you ever told yourself something along those lines? Think about a situation that makes you nervous. Maybe it's giving a presentation. And if you hate giving presentations, have you ever listened to what you tell yourself before you gave one? Maybe something along the lines of, I'm not funny or witty. This is going to be a train wreck. What if someone asks a question I can't answer? You know, I'm going to look like a complete idiot if I screw this up. This is our self-critic talking. It repeats its message over and over, and it can often be meaner and harsher toward us than we've ever been towards anyone else. And once our self-critic has successfully convinced us that we are somehow subpar and less than worthwhile, we start to put measures into place to protect ourselves, to achieve, to gain approval, to seek applause, and to avoid rejection and painful situations. When we are consumed with protecting, defending, and managing how others perceive us, it gets in the way. We get in our own way of being aware and being who we really are. This keeps us from bringing our true self into relationships with others, and it keeps others from doing the same with us. The result is that nobody authentically shows up. Instead, we continue to run on autopilot and simply go through the motions. But really, who's in control? It's you. You are. You might think it's your self-critic, but it's you. And even though your self-critic will always be with you, you are the decider, and you get to control what you focus on. So by focusing on your awareness, on your observer, and watching yourself from a distance, you can make some observations. I'm being self-conscious right now. I'm feeling calm and happy. Or I'm experiencing anxiety and stress. And through these simple statements of observation, you are better equipped to choose to be your authentic self.
Hi, Michelle.
Self-awareness. We're all floating through this galaxy, and a lot of us seem to have a lot less of it nowadays than 20 years ago.
And we're unaware of it.
And yeah. I mean, we even had an incident we were talking about last night about somebody, you know, in a live stream that was just talking the whole time, and how he was not self-aware that he was literally not giving other people a chance to talk.
Right.
And things like that, or, you know, self-awareness, being able to look through yourself binoculars and be like, oh man, I'm talking too much. You know, I need to allow other people to speak because I'm not being a good speaker at that point, if you're not opening your ears to somebody to listen, you know, or to allow somebody else to speak.
Hi, Jimmy. Yeah, you know, and what that guy was talking about, the self being my own worst critic. You know, somebody could sit there and come up to me saying, Bruce, man, you are doing a fucking awesome job. You're so amazing. You're great. And I will walk away and say, that's a bunch of bullshit, you know, because that's just, you know, where that self-defeating mindset can be, because I had thought that way for so many years. It's not like that anymore. It can be, don't get me wrong, but I've gotten better at that because, you know, well, self-awareness, you know, I know that despite of the thank you, Holly, despite of the bad thoughts, self-thoughts that I've had before, I know in my heart, and I know that I'm doing good things and that I'm a good person. But, you know, it's you know, sometimes, you know, that mental health will block us from believing that. Sure, I know it, but do I believe it? You know, so that's one of the things I work on a lot. I used to walk in front of a mirror because I used to hate myself really bad. And I used to walk in front of a mirror because someone told me, start looking in the mirror and tell yourself you are awesome. I couldn't do it. So I'd walk by a mirror and I'd do walk-bys. I'd walk by and I'd go, you're awesome. And I'd keep going, you know, and I would do that. And well, finally, I was able to look in the mirror. And today I can look in the mirror and say, Bruce, you're an awesome dude. And I believe it today. Some days not so much, but, you know, it's better than it was, you know, and that's, like I said, you know, we're talking about self-awareness, just knowing about me, the truth about me.
It's really weird when you think about how everybody's different level of awareness, and somebody who even like to the deepest parts of maybe like somebody who's really in a dark place.
Sure.
Somebody who like turns to violence, like a serial killer. I can't imagine that be their level of awareness is just so small. It has to be.
Same with narcissism.
Yeah. And then you get to people who are just very open. They're like, when they come into the room, they're just amazing person to be around. They are very aware of everything. They're very aware of themselves. You know, they're on the very opposite spectrum.
Right.
Well, Jeffrey Dahmer was different because he was actually very aware of what he was doing, but that's a whole different story.
Some of those people are, you know, very intelligent minded.
Yeah. Because awareness is definitely, some people are just not aware at all that their behavior, and they just think it's normal.
You know, and a lot of it is just self-acceptance, you know, as I accept me as who I am, you know, a lot of it wasn't, you know, I had high expectations of myself, you know, and the thing about, you know, what stress is unmet expectations, you know. So if I'm sitting there thinking, you know, trying to have too high of expectations on myself, things that I can't really accomplish, then I'm gonna lower my it's gonna lower my standards, and I'm gonna have self loathing, and it feeds in all that. So I try not to have expectations on myself, or at least not too high of expectations. Hold on, my dog's trying to get in.
I'll send Becca the link. Yeah, you can come up, Becca. I always have to find your profile because you're actually a page. Becca's. And it doesn't always want to pop up in my search. Why does it want to do not do that? So I got to find where she's coming in at and then send her the link.
Who?
Oh, Becca, her page, I think she's a page or a group. So when you like search through your chats, she doesn't pop up.
I can
So it's
try to.
harder to send her a link because it never finds her in my messenger. Yeah, you don't exist in my messenger search bar.
Hold on, I can send her a message. Try to.
I don't know if she knew that though. That's how Facebook actually does that. If you're a personal page, it actually it'll take preference, and I don't think a lot of the pages like that you have to follow will pop up. It does the same thing on my phone too. It won't find it in the search.
I can send her a message if I can get my other screen to work. But it just sits there and buffers.
If I can see where she's commenting at, I can find her profile and then click it. I'll just search Facebook instead of the. There you go. Search Facebook instead of the Messenger. Sometimes you gotta
find her?
Yeah, sometimes I just gotta think a little more.
Okay, I was gonna say if not, I got her messenger up.
Well, there's Facebook, there's the Messenger search bar where you can search for people's messages, and then there's Facebook search, and I use the Facebook search.
Well, I sent it to her too, just in case.
Well, I send it, so.
You got double invited. Hi, Brian.
I am following you.
Yeah,
I see your lives. I see your lives every morning, Becky.
No,
you're when I get up in the morning, you're usually live.
Yeah, I know what you mean there, Brian. I'm just now starting this. A couple years ago is when my back started really getting bad, my back and neck. So I'm still learning things that I can't do, and it irritates me, but it's starting to get to where I'm learning acceptance. That I just can't do the shit I used to. Do I like it? No. And that's the thing about acceptance. You don't have to like it. Kind of got to accept it as it is, though. Because you can't change it. And that's the things I can was no difference. Blah blah blah.
I'm in the same boat with you, Mister. My journey on this whole bullshit and changing how I think in life and doing everything started last like May, and then I had the surgery on the plate in my neck in June. So I'm right. Yeah.
And just learning my limitations. And that's again part of that awareness. Being aware of what I can and can't do, and sometimes, I try to push myself a little too far, but that's just me being stubborn. But Brian, I'm sure you understand that. He's a go-getter, and that's why not meaning he's stubborn, but yeah, he probably is. He's a go-getter like me, so I get it.
Right on. Oh yeah. Yeah, awareness is a funny thing, isn't it? It goes right along with different things, I guess. It really freaks me out when I'm walking around like Walmart or walking into a store and see young people right in their phones, not paying to anything around them. That just blows me or blows my mind.
Yeah, I'll look down at my phone momentarily, but I'll never walk around the store, in my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way, man.
But I'm bipolar, so I'm in public. I feel so
Hi,
much
Mama Rochi.
people's energy that usually I just look down anyway. Because if I make eye contact with somebody, I'm gonna absorb their energy, and I might not want to. So I
Right.
usually just keep my head down anyway.
Right. Okay. All right.
That is a
Me?
loaded statement right there, Jimmy, and that is perfect right there.
Learn
With a
that.
person, a lot of us, with mental challenges, we might have perfectionism.
Mhm.
I do all over, but I got to remember I'm perfectly imperfect and I'm enough. That's
Yep.
okay in God's eyes, so it should be okay in my eyes. And if I go judging that, then I'm judging God. If I'm judging Him, well, then I'm in trouble again.
Yeah.
Sorry to
Just
throw the
like-
religion in there, but that's just the way I think.
Just like I say at the end of the podcast, if you love yourself and forgive yourself, anything is possible. And
Yes.
that's the truth. If you do those two things, you can accomplish anything you ever wanted.
The guy that taught me the I am awesome and getting better, or the I am mantra, he used to always say, he goes, have an awesome day, unless you choose otherwise.
That's a good one. That's a word. And I like your bringing up intention, or is that what the word was? Intention?
Yes, that's a word that in a psychedelic trip is what you like. What are your intent to get out of it?
Mm-hmm. What you're going to attempt to get out of it.
But
Right on.
Me too, Mama Rochi. I will walk smack dab into a
No.
wall or a sign or somebody, car, street. I got to stop and look at my phone, separate what I'm doing from that for a second, if it's important.
the great thing is that psychedelics kind of bring awareness naturally. So when you just take them, your awareness goes up. And I remember actually sitting outside. It was a few months ago, and I literally watched a whole family of raccoons. I had never ever seen them because my level of awareness was so low. And then I started seeing all these other animals outside, and I was like, how do I never see these things when I'm sitting here? And the psychedelics just make you're just 100% living in the moment of awareness, and that's all you are existing. You're not thinking about tomorrow. You're just observing, and then just being. I find that really interesting when you use psychedelics and you're sitting somewhere that you're normally sitting, but you observe a lot more things that are happening than you normally do, and that level
Right.
of awareness just goes up.
Yeah.
I got cursed when I took my sociology class, and my teacher warned me about this. She said, "You're going to be cursed. You're going to watch people." And I didn't believe her. I'm like, well, I do. I'll be sitting at today. I was waiting for Patty to come out of the plasma center, and I watched a group of people stand there. I'm not going to tell you what I was thinking, but it was a judgmental thought, because I wasn't right there. But it was just weird. I noticed that a lot. I'll watch behaviors.
Right. Me too. I do that.
But it helps me learn too.
And it helps you let reality be real, and that's what happens. Our brains get clogged up by all this debris. The psychedelics remove all that debris, and now you have a clear vision of what reality is, and that's kind of what it does. Too much debris in our brains, but that's the way life is. We've
Helps you let reality.
overwhelming.
That's so true, Jimmy. Thank you. Hang on, I like that.
Fun. I'll look up a definition.
Of what?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. That was the word I was looking for.
Well, we can play that. You want to play that video?
Yeah, actually, if you would.
Yeah, we can just do that.
Good spot.
Pretty sure I saved it. Anyway, I'll look at the link you sent me. Now it's saved.
It does. That's right, Jimmy. It awakens your subconscious and subconscious mind. Psychedelics. Opens your doors for your perception, like Jim Morrison said.
Yeah, profoundly too. In a very profound way. people watcher. Oh, I didn't even have to play. I was just reading his comments. I saw the people watcher, and that's the kind of person I am as well. Because I go to places. I used to go to nightclubs, and not to drink, but to people watch. And I would just sit there at a bar with a friend and just make comedic jokes about people in the bar.
Yeah, I'm with Colin right here.
I am too.
I had to be careful with, putting judgment or putting what I thought, my thoughts behind what I thought was going on and predicting. It got me in some trouble a couple of times.
Well, I guess there are places to be a people watcher, though, like a nightclub. And there's places not to be a people watcher.
Right. Like a kid's school.
Or Walmart. That's another interesting place to be a people watcher.
Oh, for sure. Chris says that's what I like about doing events, watching the people. I know, Mama Rochi, I like going to them. Ain't been to any this year, but I'll be at St. Louis one. I have to ride in somebody's damn trunk.
All right, we'll play this video on everyday mindfulness, and we'll go from there. Here we go.
Everyday mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Often when people think about mindfulness, they imagine someone sitting on a cushion alone in a room with their eyes closed. Sometimes that is what mindfulness practice looks like. And sitting with your eyes closed in this way has great benefits. But mindfulness is also so much more. Mindfulness is a way to approach everyday life that makes living more enjoyable and less stressful. You can apply mindfulness to everything you do, whether you are eating, walking, or sitting in class. Mindfulness is a choice that you can make at any moment. Mindfulness can help you better understand how you feel and what you are experiencing. It's about being aware of the present moment instead of replaying the past or worrying about the future. Mindful awareness means being aware with kindness. It's about being engaged in everyday life, choosing to be nice to yourself and others in the present moment, and bringing an open awareness to all moments, whether those moments are pleasant, neutral, or maybe even unpleasant.
There's the word awareness.
Bringing to that awareness some curiosity and kindness instead of judgment and criticism. You may be surprised at what you learn if you are curious and kind. This does not mean that you need to be meditating. You just need to be paying attention on purpose with a little friendliness. This can help you with stress or anxiety or even sadness. It helps you focus on what is happening right now, because worrying about the future or the past all the time can be exhausting. Practicing paying attention in a kind way to little things can help train your mind so you can develop more ease across your life. Anything can be leveled up with mindfulness. Here are some examples of ways you can be mindful in everyday life. Right now, you might be sitting in a chair watching this video on your phone. How heavy does your phone feel in your hand? What parts of your hand is the phone touching? Is your phone hot, warm, or maybe cool? Are you sitting down? What parts of your body are being supported by the chair? If you are standing, can you feel which parts of your feet are connected to the ground? Or where you are placing the weight of your body on your feet? This is all mindfulness. Or maybe, when you're talking with someone, instead of listening to them so that you can give them a response or to answer them, listen with the goal of understanding them better. This is a little change that can make a big difference in a conversation.
Listen to understand rather than to
The
respond.
trick is not to automatically react to what you're paying attention to. Just notice what body sensations and emotions come up. And notice your reactions or judgments, because there will be judgment. Just try not to judge yourself for how judgmental you might be. There's no right or wrong, just noticing what's happening in the moment. This can be noticing what's going on around you or inside of you. Let any and all things that you notice be there. You can
Maybe
practice this
that
type of
one's
mindfulness
too
anytime, anywhere, and under any circumstance.
Most definitely the expo.
Simply be
though.
aware of what's happening in that moment. Like this moment. What are you noticing right now?
And you know, for me, guys, it's these two, awareness and mindfulness, and in my own recovery, you know, speaking from my own experiences, is they go hand in hand. Awareness, you know, lets me know what's there. Mindfulness, you know, lets me get a deep awareness of what's there, you know, and that's where, you know, I don't know I have a problem unless I have awareness of it. I have that awareness, and I can use some mindfulness and get deep into that and learn about it and get to the crux of it and try to remedy it. Thinking about the present moment on purpose without judgment. Mindfulness. Feel judgmental, but not anymore. Sometimes you just don't know unless you live it. That's true, Elisa.
There's more than likely that one medication, natural medicine, probably could replace all of your prescriptions. And there's a lot of sad stories of people, for the VA especially, over prescribing prescriptions for depression and PTSD.
Yeah, Tucker, I've been on
a dozen medications is a lot. I always, anything over 2 or 3 prescriptions, you're going into I consider a lot.
Yeah, I used to take I tried a dozen or a big list, you know, and it's just none of them really did. They had side effects or this or that, you know, but nothing has ever done what the natural remedies can do, like cannabis and magic mushrooms, regular mushrooms, you know.
What's going on, Danny?
Hey, Danny.
And just, you know, natural coping skills and recovery, you know, period.
Coping skills are a huge deal. You
know, absolutely.
Most of us were not taught coping skills and setting boundaries when we were very young. And, you know, now we're out here and we're just all over the place, you know, trying to learn as we go.
I had to learn coping skills from mushrooms.
Yeah.
Basically, I take this mushroom and this knowledge I never learned comes into my head, and I, you know, really what happened. And I grabbed the knowledge and kind of
kept going.
Yeah. It's really weird that a mushroom, a natural substance, really helped drag me in the right direction.
I think it's amazing. You know, once I started reading articles and realized that the American Psychiatric Association, APA, is behind the research on the psychedelics and stuff for, you know, mental health. I'm like, holy fuck, they are listening. You know, they're getting it, and I was super excited. I'm still excited about it. That's why I keep coming back. You're giving me knowledge, dude. Okay, I like that. Right? Yeah.
One of the ways I put that is these little cliches you'll hear me say is move a muscle, change a thought. You know, if I get busy doing something else, I'm not going to think of what I was just dwelling on so much. You know, I'm going to get busy doing with what I was doing or what I'm doing. And it just lets it go away, at least for a minute. And then, you know, maybe I can come back to it a little bit whenever I'm not so stressed on it or dwelling on it or asphyxiated on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm bipolar, and I haven't taken a prescription in 3 years now. So it's possible to navigate life. It's not easy. I've had to burn a lot of bridges, and I've had a lot of episodes myself where I did things I shouldn't have, but you learn from them and you keep going.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, Tucker, I felt like a zombie walking around at times. with them. He was talking about 5 different medications on a daily schedule, and
For
yeah,
mental illness?
yeah, for PTSD and bipolar. And that, you know, that's the thing is, you know, like the reason that stopped me from taking pharmaceuticals was just a few months ago. I was taking them because I was trying something new. I wanted something different to happen. And every time I would go in and something wasn't working, instead of increasing it just a little bit or trying something different, they'd put another pill on top of it, put another pill on top of it. Finally, I told her, I said, none of these damn things are working. Can we try something to go with the ADHD and quit fucking with the symptoms?
Yeah.
And she got mad at me. And I got mad at her and I left. And I said, I'm done with your damn drugs. I'll go do my own. That's exactly what I said. And I walked out. You know,
Right.
so I am responsible for my own recovery.
Well, mine.
Bottom line.
See, I don't understand how everybody gets on all these pills because I don't get it. I'm on one, and I have a backup if I need it.
The VA is the worst. Like, there's plenty of stories of men getting prescribed 30 medicines. In fact, the Vice News did a story on that guy, and he was on 34 medications for PTSD, and he was like a walking zombie. And he was scared to try marijuana because he said that the VA could pull all his meds.
Exactly.
And that's like, what kind of organization like holds that over somebody's head as well? Like, oh, if you take cannabis, you may lose access to all your prescriptions.
Right.
Like,
They do it all the time.
Yeah.
My grandpa, he died in the VA hospital, and then one of it was because they, you know, wouldn't give him his meds because he smoked marijuana.
Yeah, there's some states like that are still like that. Now, Illinois,
Arkansas.
The VA in Illinois kind of does help you get your medical license because they helped a friend of mine. They actually gave him paperwork at the VA office.
Good. That's good.
So,
yeah, this was years ago. I mean, I was just a little kid when this happened.
Yeah. Well, there still are states that are really against it, you know. Like you said, Arkansas, Texas, I think it's still a felony to have a vape card. At least it was a few years ago.
I'm not sure. I know Texas is just getting into medical, and they're really fucking up the system in that area.
Yeah.
Mama Rochi says, and another one to treat the side effects of another one. You're right.
Yeah, man. Okay.
And then talk about taking away your awareness with those. Those pills take your awareness. They make you like a zombie, and then you're just like,
yeah, and they break some filters and make you mean. I was on clonazepam for years.
Like, your level of awareness.
Everybody's like, "You're so mean," and that's what it was.
It literally feels like it puts like a foggy mask over your eyes, and you just don't feel like it's the same anymore.
Yeah.
And Jeremy brought up a good point. You know, he takes a lot of meds too, but a lot of them for his physical. I don't know nothing. I'm just talking on my experience on mental health medicine. Physical stuff, I've never been in the situation Jeremy, you know, had a bad, you know, accident when he was younger. That's different. You know, I don't know anything about those meds. You know, I know there's better, you know, things you can take for pain, but at that extent, I don't know, you know. But yeah, in long term, you know, some of them mental health meds, you know, they can mess you up. You know, I was on the what do they call it? Quadripidine, Seroquel. That crap there, you know, they had me on like 250 in the morning, 250 in the evening, and like 100 at noon. I was walking around the treatment center, damn near higher than the people in detox, you know, and I'm like, you know, I can't. I feel like I'm drunk. I said, no, I can't do this, you know.
I don't like feeling like that.
No. If I want to get drunk, I'll pick up a damn beer and a shot of whiskey and I'll start on it. But, you know, I don't want to feel that. Especially, you know, it made me feel like I wanted to go get drunk. So I'm like, yeah, you got to take this away.
If you're gonna go off of just answering this question of medication, CBG and CBD, make sure you incorporate those into your cannabis. Those are really important cannabinoids, CBG and CBD, to treat mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So not just THC, but you want all three of those, really.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do your studies, guys. You know,
What about your headphones. And,
This is our lived
man,
experience, guys. And this is what we've, experienced ourselves and went through. By all means, we're not saying we're experts, or doctors, or anything like that. This is just what we've used, and it's worked for us. And we know some people that it's worked for them too.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately,
awareness.
Well, unfortunately, we have to be a word for somebody because the doctors aren't going to be telling you to take CBG.
Exactly.
They wouldn't make any money off of it, so
we're just letting you know there's other options, and this is what worked for us. And
yes,
like Dan said, the doctors ain't going to tell you about none of this.
Yeah, in fact, they don't even know. When I mentioned CBG to my doctor, they just look at me with a blind stare, and they're like, "What's that?"
That's
it's a cannabinoid that kind of treats the whole body, and they're only taught what they're taught in school. So if they're not looking into it at home, then they don't know anything about it.
Good job. Tucker used cannabis for his pain from back surgery recovery. Yeah, sativa can make your mind race. It can also slow it down for people with ADHD sometimes. Depend on your mind. It doesn't work like that for everybody. But kind of like taking
wow, Crystal.
like whenever I would take speed, I would slow down. My buddies are ready to go get more speed, and I'd be like,
"Yeah,
I can go take a nap."
They're
like, "What's wrong with you?"
Right on, Colin.
Also, quitting a prescription is not for everybody. The only reason I did it because I was so tired of 20 years, 25 years I've been taking prescription and just they work for 6 months and then they don't. I was just so tired of it. So when cannabis became legal, I had options to buy, cannabis that would treat bipolar, and that really changed everything.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So thankful for Illinois doing that, because once they legalized, I quit taking my bipolar medication, because then I knew I wasn't getting street marijuana anymore. Because when you buy street weed, you never knew what it was going to be, how strong it was going to be. Sativas, yeah.
Oh, sorry,
sativas,
Dan.
Sativas can also give you a lot of creativity, though. If your mind is racing, there's a lot of creative thoughts in there, but you have to be able to calm it down and kind of channel it.
We've been mixing heavy indica with the sativa, and it's just been like a great buzz. It's just they both work together. I'll be honest. Don't ask me what strains they are because we both use a person. So there you go. It worked for us.
Oh yeah. If it works, go with it. Somebody said earlier, did you get that one? What was what do I send you?
Right on, Joseph.
He said, so what do I start out with? That's kind of a personal preference. It depends on when you go in, like Dan talks about, when you go in for like a hero dose or something like that, you want to have an intention. You don't want to just go in blindly, because it could.
I thought they did, Jenna. I thought they had to do developments, like the nurses have to do developments too.
But you want to go. But Sandy, you want to have an intention when you go in with the trip. Try and find out some answers. And then under my understanding, then after that, you kind of work on that and you microdose along the way to try to keep that mind in that same mindset and the same focus as you work your recovery.
And that's why they refer to it like blowing a hole in the side of your brain, because your level of awareness, can go from like a 2 to a 3 to a 6 or 7 after you do.
Look,
the
I
microdose,
the grass
mushrooms,
growing, okay?
Because
when
you do that,
everything. All
when
right?
you do a big dose, you become aware of not only yourself, but you become aware of what the world really is. And I when I first encountered that, it really blew a hole in my mind of, I'm like, wow, there's a deeper part of me here. There's a much deeper part of me. And then, there's a much deeper part to the world. And that just,
there is
the shock factor when you first do a big dose.
I can't wait. I'm excited. Please, motherfuckers, take me away.
But that's really why I still do them, because the world seems to degrade our brains. Like, it's just our world. And And I live in a strange city too, where I'm like the black swan in the city. I'm not, I don't really belong here with what's here and the people who live here. Not saying anybody who's listening right now, I'm hating on Quincy.
I got all of that. I don't think I have the fromage, but I got that degenerative disc. That's a motherfucker. And Arthur, he can fuck right off. Fuck him. Arthur, he is not my dude. I fuck that. Hell yeah.
And I'll tell you what, my arthritis, since I've been taking, that's another thing I want to mention, is since I've been taking that lion's mane, my arthritis in my hands, I can tell. That's where I have it the most, is in my hand. I mean, I got it all on my back too, but that goes with all the rest of the back pain. But my hands I work with all the time, I notice it completely.
If I tie shirts every day consistently, my fingers hurt so bad. And also, here's the thing. I got these little knots that come up on my finger joints when the weather is bad and like it stays through all the winter. It usually comes in the wintertime, like November time, when it's starting to really get kind of cold. And they're already coming up on my fingers. And I just think that's some bullshit. That tells me things are going to get cold. Fast.
Speaking of winter, do you think that the winter, since we get stuck in our house, we become less aware of the world and it may make us
I think that depressed? We go in here and we do our things and we try to distract ourselves from all the stuff.
Like when I get stuck in the
house, outside, we're like, whoop, here we are.
Yeah. When I stay inside for even like a day where I don't leave, on the next day when I leave it, the world seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like your awareness has to come back.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned that, Dan, because COVID really, it reclused me a lot, because when COVID hit, my dad died. So then I was stuck by myself in my head, and that's what kind of put me through all that. But anyway, or how I was going through all that. But you're right. When I'd go out after being in here for so long, I'd go out, in the real world, and it was different. And, I wasn't aware of all the fear.
Like you don't feel it. Like you go outside and like you're aware where you're at, but do you really feel it? That's the thing I mean. Like, are you, some days I go outside and, I'm like, I'm part of this world, and you just feel like
you're stepping outside of it.
Yeah, going outside so awesome. And then some days you just feel disconnected from it.
I get them feelings, that disconnection feeling.
And that's, your level of awareness has kind of gone down, mindfulness. And
yeah.
Absolutely.
But there are ways to bring it back, like going out into nature, putting down your cell phone, and going out in nature can increase your awareness a lot. What's that?
Grounding.
Yeah. Basically grounding, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
winter blues.
Like stand in some little creek or something. It's nice.
Seasonal depression is a serious thing too. It is.
So is. Yeah.
I am an ordained minister, Colin, believe it or not.
I'm not keeping up with the comments.
I've married probably about 10, 12 couples, something like that.
Right on, Ted. Good job.
Right on, Ted.
Me too, Vicky. I'll get there one of these days.
Vicky, you're welcome.
Just get a hold of Dan.
Yeah. I ship it out pretty affordably too, so. What's going on, Josh?
$18 to my door, and I can't beat that. I can afford that.
Yeah.
For my mental health, fucking right, I can afford, and more.
Yeah,
I can
compared to other, the cost of prescriptions, that's a pretty.
Really I mean, the cost of the prescription, how much it damages their body,
the gas to go get it.
Yeah, the effort to have to look at other people.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's true. You get it shipped right to your door. That's pretty effortless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's my back, my neck, my arms.
Grounding is great too. I also found out you can ground yourself by calling a friend, just talking to a friend. And I find that out when I go in to do mushrooms and I kind of feel uneasy and I call somebody, and then I feel grounded again. I feel more aware of the world.
That's good.
I think it's just hearing somebody's voice is helpful to ground yourself as well.
Especially if you actually care about. And yeah.
I've never had a bad trip or a moment to where I needed someone else. I always had, anytime and before I go into a trip, I would always go in with this lighter. I know it's weird, but it showed a significance for me. This I always called my reality.
Yeah.
So if I started getting out, this was my grounding technique, because I wasn't always around people, because when I was tripping, I used to wander a lot. And sometimes I'd pull that lighter out and I'd be okay. It's weird. But I set that in stone and in my brain before I started tripping. So.
Yeah. I always don't mean something bad happened. Like the last time I had to ground myself, I told you I started seeing snakes.
Yeah.
And then everything started becoming snakes. I was outside, like all the sticks started becoming snakes. So then I started to panic a little bit because I knew I was kind of becoming a little bit seeing things that weren't there. So then I called somebody, and that delusion can disappear.
Sure.
A lot of delusions of people see stuff is based on their anxiety. Like when anxiety increases, you're more likely going to see delusions that aren't there and things. So that's what I figured out. So especially when you get into manic energy, then you start freaking out, and then you start hallucinating really bad.
Yeah, that's when them neurotransmitters up there are going nuts, and you never know what chemicals
I've done experiments with it to make it stop. If you literally say out loud, "You're not real," every time they have disappeared. Now, sometimes if you're a little bit more panicky and you can't just say it and help yourself, like if you're relaxed and all of a sudden something appears, you can say that, and it usually disappears 99% of the time. Because you say it out loud, then your mind's like, "Oh, well, shit, it isn't real."
Yeah.
Like I had that happen once when I saw what I thought was a giant moth on my couch I was sitting with, and I ended up poking it, and it freaked me out a little bit. My anxiety went up. Then I looked down my legs, and I had moths all over my legs, and I was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?"
Right.
Bugs all over me. And then I said that out loud. I'm like, this is not real. You're not real." And then I closed my eyes and opened back up, and they were gone. But freaked me out. That was the only time I've really seen bugs like crawling all over me.
Yeah, Colin, it's funny because most of my best crops that I've had come from the winter where I've been reclusive, and that's all I do is my gardening.
Did your bad hallucination things happen because you went into it with some anxiety or aggression or angry or?
Sometimes the mushrooms can bring anxiety with them, just
because of that. Yeah.
Okay. Especially at the beginning, when your body's like, what the hell did you eat? So it increases your heart rate and it starts to increase your anxiety a little bit, but it usually goes away after 20 or 30 minutes. I've
done that in a moment before. What Jimmy says here, he says, sometimes I just have to tell him, I say, "Hey, you're just tripping, dumbass, you'll be all right."
Yeah, sometimes the hallucinations are in your head.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can see them through your eyes, but the ones in your head are just as powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
I also have a strain that has audio hallucinations, and that's really weird. If you take high doses, there are audio hallucinations.
I don't need all that.
There are strains that do that.
I need the Red-Eye Man to come into my mind and fix my shit.
I've heard people's names yelled in my house. I also had another experience that I played chakra music. I went to bed and I woke up to this insanely white noise sound. It was like static coming through my phone. I'd never heard my phone ever make that. But I don't know if I was hallucinating that or actually heard it, because I actually had to shut my phone off to turn it off. I couldn't get it to stop any other way.
Huh.
So, and I read more conditions where actually you can wake up from a sleep on a psychedelic and think you're hearing a noise that's not really there. But it does happen sometimes.
And also, the bad or the negative things that have happened, has that been with a specific type of psychedelic?
Yeah, this is the mushroom that I have. It's just really strong.
Really strong?
Yeah.
An ass kicker, huh?
Yeah. But I think it's so strong that why it has a little bit of anxiety. But like I told him today, I actually mixed 2 strains together today, and it didn't have any anxiety. So I think the other strain kicked the other one's anxiety out. So it was just, I didn't feel it at all. It was two microdoses combined.
Yeah,
Didn't feel any psychoactive effect, but I felt really great all day.
really great. Nice.
Yeah.
That
Huh.
was good. How do you
Send
feel right
me-
now? You still feel pretty good? Pretty
Yeah.
alert and like,
Yeah, I know the next 3 days are going to be, I know I got my farmer's market Saturday, so I know I'm going to need the energy
yeah,
be nonstop till Saturday at 1 o'clock.
right? I bet that's exciting. I used to love that shit, man.
Uh,
I was all about it.
And the
It's good to get
Cindy,
your
the
mind right
lion's
so you
mane-
don't run out.
lion's mane is not psychoactive. It's not like the magic mushrooms. It's just
Yeah.
it's a healing. It's got healing properties that help with inflammation, helps with anxiety, depression, ADHD, a lot of mental health stuff. It helps, kind of. I think mushrooms in general, and this is my opinion. Dan's the expert part on that, but I
Yeah,
think
he
they
says the same thing.
any of them help. They have a healing property, and some of them help rewire your brain.
And I've been experimenting with what to eat too. I really think that the anxiety is based on taking it on an empty stomach. I think your stomach like freaks out when you eat the mushroom, and it's this very powerful molecule. That's why you may get anxiety. Because I've eaten before and then taken the same substance, the same strain, and not had anxiety. It was really when I ate something really healthy.
Huh.
So that seems to really help with the anxiety if you eat something healthy, not non-sugar. Probably no gluten, something that's really
Green.
whole. Yeah, or fruit or something.
I've heard that before.
Protein.
Because I've noticed when I take gluten that I do seem to have a little more anxiety. But I also have a funny digestive system, so
Right.
I can relate to that.
putting the work in, he said down here.
Huh?
I thought that was funny. He said, "I love that you put the
Yeah.
work in." Because
Yeah.
I did.
I love it, Dan. I'm just
I
so
literally
darn
did psychedelics and sat on my couch and watched TV and learned about myself just sitting there watching TV more than I'd ever did with a therapist or anything else. And I think that's really awesome that you can just literally sit there, watch some TV, and kind of navigate the world in a different way.
right.
So sometimes I did do psychedelics, not to do therapy. I just did it just to enjoy,
Fun.
yeah. Makes if you watch a TV show, it actually makes the TV show completely different. So I'm a really big Workaholics fan, and I've watched Workaholics probably like 15 times in my life. And I watched like half a season once on psychedelics, and it blew my mind how different it was.
Good soda.
And it made me realize that, wow, this is like, everything's really about perspective. Like even this TV show can appear different to me because my mind is different. I have a different mindset when I'm on mushrooms.
Right.
And then your outcome of what you think the show is entirely different. I found that really mind-blowing.
Very interesting. I get
And then I actually found a deeper meaning to Workaholics. Like that show may seem like a show about 3 insecure men who talk about penises and smoke weed, but like it goes, like if you're on psychedelics and see their real meaning and they're deeper about male insecurities and like how they make it funny, they're really genius writers. And for Workaholics, if anybody has ever seen that show.
Mm-mm. Nope, I have not.
No,
That's
me neither.
correct. There's not a lot of TV or shows that keep my attention.
Well, they're 20-minute episodes. That's that are great for me.
Okay.
So I can do like 20-minute episodes all day.
Yeah, that word might work. But that first 5 minutes is important because if you don't snag me in, I'm going to wander off. Or I'm going to pull my book out or,
How's it doing for you, Ted? Is it the same stuff you got that I get from Dan? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I don't think so. I can't remember who I shipped it out to or not. So
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna try that next time I take a hero dose. Eat before I take some shroom. Eat something healthy, maybe a salad or something.
yeah, and I'd like to experiment with niacin more too. Maybe niacin may help ease anxiety
Yeah.
too.
You'd mentioned that.
Where do
So
you find that at?
Well,
I had a
niacin
friend send me
is
some
just-
mushrooms from Oklahoma, and I just tried one stem the other day. It was Monday. It was a little bit more than I was expecting. They were pretty good, but luckily I was calmed down before Mental Health Monday started.
Well, niacin is in like our everyday food, but it's not in like large amounts. But niacin is responsible for like 110 of our body processes. It's responsible for a lot. So if you take like a supplement form when you take the psychedelic, it actually like wettens the receptor. Yes, it kind of like wettens it to prepare it to take the molecule, and then it sticks better, and the whole process just works better for the body.
Spreads a little glue on there, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I used to do it, take a niacin, but you have to deal with kind of the flush if you take a little too much. You know, your skin's gonna get a little red for 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine. He told us to try to take it to clean out from alcohol or clean out for a drug test.
Yeah.
And he used to do it for football all the time, and it worked. But he'd take, a bunch of them, and he'd be out there partying with us. Well, he wouldn't be partying because he was cleaning out. But his skin was all red, and his face was red. And you could tell.
But it's responsible for a lot of our body processes. So it's really important. Niacin is really important to have in our body. Much of it does that to the skin. It flushes all the blood up to the skin and makes you itch.
No itching.
Especially the GNC brand. GNC like sells a 500 milligrams. If you take one of those, I think you will die. So I took one once, and then now I break it into like fourths. That's how strong it is.
Well, that's a good thing to know there. Okay.
Some brands are way stronger than. Like I brought a generic 500 milligrams, and it didn't do that. So, but GNC you do pay a higher price, but they are higher quality stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I need supplement stores like that.
Corn has a lot of niacin. Oh, maybe that's why I feel. Maybe
spinach did.
I'll have to monitor that next time if my skin gets warm after eating corn. If you eat a lot of it.
Wonder if it would have it in high amounts. Huh.
I remember flashing never again. Right when you take too much of it, it's like hell on earth for 15 minutes.
I know.
It's itching like hell.
I tried it the one time a buddy told me, and it was actually when I got in the Boilermakers apprenticeship, and because I wanted to pass my first test. Oh, I burned and I couldn't stand it. I quit. Luckily, I quit in time to where I passed the test, but I quit doing that niacin crap. I was like, wow, that's just too much.
Oh no, Joshua. That'd be horrible.
Yeah, they actually make a pill I told you about that they sold in St. Louis when I was on probation, and I would take that stuff to pass probation marijuana tests. Because in 2016, when I got arrested, I didn't want to quit smoking the cannabis, so I was using it for my mental health. And
right?
It's not. I always thought it was stupid that the court system really wants to tell me, take away something that helps me, and then to go make me take drug court classes that tell me it's wrong.
Oh yeah, it's all fucked.
I worked for drug court here in Christian County for 3 years, and that's one of the reasons it got me out of the field. Yeah. Above many.
But at least now that's changing. Now people on probation are able to smoke cannabis now, because now we realize, the real culprit bad things are alcohol, meth, and cocaine, and
heroin. Yeah, fentanyl, all that other
big business.
All that other crap from crime.
All those other really bad things.
Yeah, it would be just some sort of.
I see it in my neighborhood. I see it in Quincy.
Right.
Walking down the street
or on the truck.
Well, you know what's bad? When I've probably seen 10 or 20 different people, that might be exaggerating a little, but a lot of people on here from different parts of the country, and every one of them say the exact same thing. My town is the meth capital of the world.
Yes, they do. Everybody says that,
Yeah.
It's I think it helps people escape reality, and their awareness level can just go down to nothing. And I've never done meth, but I'm assuming that I know people who are on it. They just seem very unaware of what the F's going on.
Yeah.
They are. They're concentrated on keeping that drug around. That's what their life mission is become.
Like their behavior, they're just not aware of their behavior or how they're acting in public, and
or the consequences or any of that. They just, they go, balls to the wall, and that's it.
Yep.
At least that's the way I was. I wasn't on it real extensive. I didn't do it a lot, but when I did, that's the way I was. I didn't care for the stuff much.
Right.
But again, it would keep me up to drink more alcohol, so I was all game.
That's the thing about being aware, is the more aware you are, the more harder life can be. Because I've noticed that with myself, now that I'm more aware of how I'm feeling, but I have to know how to navigate those feelings a lot more now that I actually feel them.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty
more aware of the other energies and stuff around us.
Yeah, I think it's pretty normal to go throughout your day and go from a sad to a happy feeling. I think, especially somebody with bipolar, I can go up and down pretty easily and feel just fine, because people may see me crying, but I'm not really sad. I'm just sad for a moment, And
that's the thing there is, I've learned with living with bipolar, I don't have bad days. I have bad moments, and this too shall pass. It's not going to stick. I'm not going to stay in that mindset forever. And that helps me out a little bit.
Most of the time I end up crying is because I'm moved so much, because I'm so aware of what's going on. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And then you're like, you really feel it.
Yes.
I think having that sense of awareness and mindfulness and all that, it heightens your emotions and your feelings of any sort. And you're more in touch with things.
Yeah, I even feel that at the house I'm working at. Apparently the house, they told you I'm power washing, the mother had died, and you go through somebody's house and you see their 85 years of their whole life in their house.
Yeah,
you feel it. You're like, you feel this vibe in the house.
We'll be sitting there. We'll be sitting there, and something emotional will happen, and it's funny, especially during a movie and a tearjerker moment. Patty will go. She'll look over at me and say, "Are you tearing up over there?" Because usually I am.
That's me, man.
One of the things I quit doing is I quit fighting my emotions. I try to fight them and stuff, because as men, we're not supposed to feel certain ways, the way we were brought up, a lot of us, and that Neanderthal way of thinking, not just men, but, we're supposed to buck up and take it, that's the whatever. But I quit fighting all them emotions and feelings, because the more I fight them, the more I stuff them down. It's like taking a soda bottle and shaking it up and popping the lid off. Because it's going to come out and it's going to be fucking messy. But if I deal with it along the way, I don't have to deal with it all at once. You guys hear me say that a lot, because I mean it. If I take care of things, it's just like maintenance on a car.
Right.
I keep that oil change, and I keep everything running good. It's going to, or maintenance, it's going to run good. But if I stop doing that, things are going to start messing up, That includes awareness, mindfulness, eating right, just being responsible for my own recovery.
Yes.
And if I can't be responsible for my own recovery, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay not to have the answers.
Yeah. And, a lot of times anymore, we say women this or women that and men, blah, blah, blah. We need to stop distincting these things, because it's more like we're people. It's not just a man, it's not just a woman on these feelings. We all have these fucking feelings, and you're allowed.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. People realize they're allowed to have their feelings. Because just like Ross has said, we are trained from birth that boys don't have feelings and girls got to be this way. And it's hard, man. It's too conditioned. Yeah. Just take people for how
condition's a perfect word. You can see it in
it is
in conversations with people who are older. They may say things like that. They're like, well, I gotta get over this, because that's just the way I was brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, we can change the stigma now, and you can You kind of feel it.
suck it up attitude goes right along with that go, 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 you got to prove yourself attitude that needs broken out of society.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying don't try to excel and stuff like that, but
Sure.
I feel it changing now that women are becoming more equal in society. I think that everybody needs to come to the table about mental health too.
They do. Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons, Joe, why we're here. Joe Nickelback says, break the chain, guys. And that's one of the biggest part of why I do what I do, is because trying to get rid of that stigma, and trying to let people know it's okay to not be okay. It's all right to have mental health. It's okay to have feelings and emotions.
Yes.
And all this shit.
I think if we lived in a normal society where everything was, where things were the way they should be, I think you could literally cry out in public because you were moved to tears, and nobody may look at you funny. But nowadays, if somebody sees you crying, if you're moved to tears, they think something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
You're depressed, but it's not the fact. Our bodies even react to happiness that way,
Yeah. It's a balance beam. Yeah, you're right, Josh.
Sure is, sure.
In fact, there probably are societies out there where people do that in public, and then everybody doesn't really think anything of it unless the person's reaching out for help, that if you see somebody crying out in public. But that's definitely how we react. And if we see it, that we see somebody crying, we think that something's bad is happening.
Right.
And and Joshua, that's what I did for years with the alcohol and the drugs, was trying to mask it because I didn't know what to do with it. I wasn't aware of any way out, so I was just putting it in a bottle, which a lot of people do my age, and well, not just my age, but that I know of, because we didn't know anyway. That was the thing. Go outside and go play. Come back when the street lights come on. We didn't have no interactions. When shit went wrong, we'd either fight about it or go, take a walk, and blow it off, or whatever.
Yeah.
Own that shit, and nobody can touch you. That's right, Joseph.
Yeah.
Lots of comments here tonight. Thanks, you guys. We got 15.
Yeah,
people.
really good show tonight.
Don't forget to hit those reactions while you're in here. I'm always thankful for the comments. That's what we really like to see the most: interactions and people sharing stories. It's all together. Because nobody in the comments is alone, so don't think you are.
Right.
We're all in this roll and rock together, and we seem to all forget that.
We are, aren't we?
And Colin's right. Not in this family, Ted. We're all the black sheep and lone wolves, and misfits, and outcasts, and nerds, and geeks. I love it. Yeah. Speaking of that movie, Revenge of the Nerds, at the end, where he brings everybody, he says, if you feel like this or this or this, come on down. Hell, the whole fucking set of bleep come down. That was pretty cool. That's us.
Yep, it is.
And guess who breaks? And guess what misfits and all those things do? They break generational curses too, and generational traumas.
And stigmas.
Yeah.
Those are the people in the family that do, because they're the ones that actually were acknowledge the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And nobody else wants to be aware of the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I noticed that too, Joshua. And Dan, you'll be reading the comments every once in a while. You'll crack a grin and start laughing.
Yeah. People making me smile.
Yeah, all you guys make me smile and us smile. It takes all of us. It's not just I can, because I can't, but we can. All together, we can break this shit. It's just not just the mental health, but even the cannabis. This community is just amazing, and we're making a movement, guys. It's not just us couple guys talking. Hell, we're huge. We're making a movement. We're making a difference. So just know that. And thank you.
Anyway, you can say that they have an open door policy, but it doesn't get any better than this.
Right on.
Yeah, we go live twice a week too, so you definitely, I guess you guys can definitely talk to us a lot.
My messenger's always open, guys.
Yeah.
You know, I don't throw my phone number on a page, but if you need my number and want to talk, just get a hold of me. I'll give it to you.
Sometimes I may
No,
be
I
slow at responding.
I already picked up one person that I'm going to be talking to once a week. Just, you know, as a friend. She needed somebody to talk to and, you know, is going through a rough time. So there you go.
That's always helpful.
Yeah, sometimes just an ear to listen, you know.
Yeah, man. Sometimes just being able to speak the words out loud, take it out of your mind.
Hey, don't forget the mushroom fam. Let's say the canna fam.
Oh yeah.
I'm over here by myself. I'm like the mushroom guy over here, and I'm over here in the corner by myself.
Right.
I'm the only one growing mushrooms. Well,
Mushy fam. Right
but
on.
I do follow other groups of people who grow mushrooms, but they aren't really into cannabis, so you don't really get.
Yeah, they're pretty much strictly to that.
Yeah, mushrooms. Yeah.
That's cool.
I think I invited you to a group. I don't know if you ever took it, but. Nice to know that one day might be highly weighted upon for that certain person. You could say,
Ted, much love.
Right on.
Ted came up live again the other day. I feel like seeing Ted on the live is just really rare, so I appreciate that he comes up on when I'm up here.
There's my friend Michelle.
Cool.
Hi, Michelle.
Unfortunately, his phone always seems to get too hot and he can't stay too long.
Right.
Yeah. I'm a weird black sheep, rainbow stripes.
There you go.
What are you trying to say, Joseph? Your flavor doesn't last very long? Like fruit stripes? Flavor don't last long?
I was like, there was an image in my head that I already had, and I think you were right. The fruit striped zebra.
Fruit striped zebra, that's the first thing that popped in my head, yep. How's Michelle doing today?
Speaking of mushrooms, I had to turn off my sterilizer, so we're done for 2 hours.
Oh yeah. About 10 minutes, we got people in the boxes.
Yeah, don't really hit this giveaway too, so we don't forget. Again,
yeah,
hit that
hashtag
that
green leaf
hashtag. We got 27 entries.
So I'll take that, Michelle. That's better than not worth the shit. So,
we didn't go over everything I wanted to tonight, but that really doesn't matter because awareness is literally something that we discuss every time we talk about psychedelics.
Yeah.
I figured it was very important to at least touch on it tonight because psychedelics profoundly increase awareness, and people should be aware for, just their mental health.
Absolutely.
So we not only talk about psychedelics, we like to talk about mental health here too, and incorporate them and mix them together.
Very
Absolutely.
true. Right on.
That's why we're all weird. I mean, there are people who definitely probably saw my Instagram story 3 weeks ago about inner child love and magic mushrooms and probably laughed at it and dismissed it and thought it was really stupid,
My dad thought
there are people who probably think I'm weird too.
My dad thought I was weird for changing the careers. Well, when I couldn't be a Boilermaker anymore, and I went into mental health and addiction. He's like, son, I don't, that's weird. I don't get it. Well, whenever he was dying and I got to work on him is what I did. He got to see what I did, and he's like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
There's the hashtag. The green leaf herbal. This is for the cannabis coconut oil infused with Ophelia strain cannabis, which is a really, really unique special strain. Been growing for a few years, and it's pretty strong stuff. You can make a dozen cookies with it, but don't eat all dozen cookies at once.
Nah.
Start with half. Like they're strong. So like half a cookie.
Hi, Kim. Was Kim Ack still in the room?
I used to
The legit name?
two Valentine's Day ago. I made edible Valentine's Day strawberries
Oh,
with chocolate, with edible chocolate on them. And I sold like $800 worth of them. I sold a shitload of them.
I bet.
And I had a whole bunch left over. And one night I literally ate like 15 of them at once, and I fell asleep. I fell asleep like 5 minutes after eating them.
Oh my gosh. How long did you sleep for?
That's
Like
what I was gonna ask.
2 hours, and I was like, man, that was good sleep. And that was this strain. It was using this oil. But it's pretty strong. If you eat a lot of it, it'll basically just knock you out. But it's crazy how fast it puts you to sleep. Like, I was like, man, I'm getting way too tired. I'm like, there's no way I'm not gonna stay awake. And so I just laid down and fell asleep. But if you have trouble sleeping, then yeah, definitely you want to eat a whole cookie before bed. Then.
Right. Michelle, if I win, I'll have them send it to you. My name's up there.
I have plenty of it. I just make it in court bouts, and I made a quart of it, and that's what I've been giving away. But I do sell it for $10 for a half a cup locally, and I can probably ship it out too. So each half cup is 400. It's 400 milligrams of THC, so there is a lot in it.
And a half a cup is about like that, right?
Yeah. That's a half a cup exactly.
A little jar.
Comes in that jar just like that.
Little Mason jelly jar. That wasn't it. I haven't tried it yet.
This is and it's high-end coconut oil. I've experimented a lot with the coconut oil, and I think this is the best stuff on the market. It's the Walmart brand. Not Walmart brand, but it's a brand they sell at Walmart.
I meant to grab a cup when I ordered my lion's mane and CBG, but I'll do it next month.
But as I always say, I got to experiment with, that woman who had Alzheimer's for a couple of years and really see how powerful this oil was. And she was my guinea pig for 2.5 years. And unfortunately, she passed away a couple months ago. But
yeah, sad to hear that. But I'm glad you got to help her. She got to help you, in a way.
Yeah, the last 2.5 years, she at least didn't suffer from Alzheimer's as bad as it would have been.
Yeah.
Once the disease gets to that stage, you can't really keep it. You can only keep it from getting worse and then kind of dealing with the symptoms.
Yeah.
And cannabis seems to do that. So they even wrote me a really nice letter. And I've never met them before. Their nurse comes and picks up the oil for them. And they wrote me a really nice long letter once, and it was really sweet.
That's really cool.
Cindy had a question here.
If you can message me if you're in the Quincy area. I have a pickup actual location. I actually have a safe on my porch with a code on it. You enter a code, and you can get stuff out of it. Then you just leave money or whatever in there and close the safe. So it allows people not. So if kids get in the neighborhood, they're not going to take a bunch of marijuana products. And I've used it for a couple of years now. And it really helps me get a pickup location for people to pick up stuff at their own convenience. So I don't have to be here. I made a Facebook user crying. See, I don't know who that is again, but
hey, Johnny.
that was Rose Thorne, if I remember right.
Rose Thorne.
Rose, yep.
Well, I hope I made you cry in a good way, because we're all hopefully happy crying tonight.
Yeah, she probably, about the lady you were helping. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
See, those are probably those just not tears of sadness, but tears of awe.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. We're all
not at all.
That I can't remember that Jim guy who played. He was a coach in basketball, and he got cancer and died. And at his speech, he said something about if you're not crying, laughing, or having fun, you're not living life. You have to do those 3 things every day.
Right.
Can't remember what the exact quote is, but somebody will probably out there say it, because there's probably a lot of college basketball fans out there. And it's a major speech he made at the ESPY Awards in the 90s. But I'm never really good at remembering speeches, so. Still getting some people getting in here.
No, I didn't see that, Joshua.
34 entries. I'm going to give it one more minute and then we'll hit the giveaway button.
Right on.
Jim Knight. Was it Jim Knight? No. It was Valis. It begins with a V. And they have a whole foundation named after him now. And the ESPN does a big they do a big fundraiser for him once a year. The Jimmy V Foundation. That's what it is. You had one word right, Jimmy.
Of course, the Jimmy part.
But I can't remember. That's why they call him Jimmy V, because his name's really hard to remember.
Vitali.
Especially if you're on a basketball coach and you're not going to call your head coach by some weird last name with a V. It's really
No.
You're like, Coach V, what's up?
Well, we had a history teacher we called Mr. V. It was Vitek was his last name, but nobody could remember it. But call it Mr. V.
All right, looks like we got them all in. Let's hit this giveaway and see who wins.
Yeah, those are nice cries, Rose. Good luck, everybody.
JC won again.
What? Wow, that's awesome.
Now she's won like before, and like I always say, you're welcome to gift it to somebody and give me an address to ship it to, or you're welcome to take it again. So just leave that option out there for you.
Right on. Nice job.
There she is. And for his, you don't have to be here.
She's here anyway. Congrats. I'll smoke to that. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Something. Yeah, there it is.
Come on, guys.
We had a really awesome 2-hour conversation.
Congratulations, JC.
tonight. And we got a really awesome winner. JC is always in our comments here, offering a lot of different.
He's a great supporter.
She's in Waylands. She's in Misfit Islands a lot, and I see her name across the whole community.
She
Sorry.
beans from AK.
All my friends call me Granny V.
She won on my giveaway. But Jason already sent that off, JC, so you should be getting them beans here soon too.
I still have your address here, JC, or I can look it through my messages again. That's the great thing about Facebook is it keeps the messages forever.
Right.
But I think it's cool because when she sent me her address, now I know what JC stands for. I won't tell anybody, but for the longest time I called her Virginia, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's just where she's from. Maybe she don't even like that name. So I started calling her JC.
Well, either way, you guys are awesome. They had an awesome 2-hour conversation about a pretty deep subject, and we definitely could talk for another hour or two about it,
Oh, for sure.
Thanks for letting me be up here and hang out, guys. I'm take off, so I'll see you about. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
night.
All right, Becca. See you tomorrow, sunshine.
I need to get her out of there. There we go. Do you need me to kick you out? There, she got it.
Yeah, sometimes
it's a little hard on your phone. It's called small screen.
Right.
But heck, I didn't even know what my next episode is about. Let me look so I can tell people about Mental Health Monday. And I think we should just do it. We'll just do an episode on dreaming. Let's do a little fun episode on Mental Health Monday.
There you go.
I think dreaming is really important to your mental health. I think it goes a lot deeper. And
is that going to include daydreaming?
I think pretty much probably, yeah. And we'll go over it. I think it'll be interesting because there's a lot of stuff that I don't even know about the current science because I don't ever have time sometimes to view it. But, like the current thing of what they think dreaming is. But honestly, I believe dreaming is something that your brain kind of takes care of problems at night. Your subconscious does, because me using psychedelics has really allowed me to connect to my subconscious, and I feel them in my dream, and then I feel my dreams I feel them during the day too. You know, it's really weird.
See, I haven't experienced that part yet.
So
I can't wait.
So I'm really connected to my subconscious. So I really understand my dreams when I have a dream that happens and I actually remember it. So I think they're
I
really
don't dream a lot. I mean, I do, but I don't remember them.
So it'll be definitely an intriguing subject on Monday at 6:30 on Mental Health Monday. So
absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys. Glad you guys showed up tonight and hung out with us. Really, really appreciate all your sharing experiences and strength and hope.
Yeah, there's definitely hundreds of comments out there tonight. That was awesome. Much appreciated. So as always,
all right,
guys.
Rose says, "Hey, I started dreaming again after microdosing. Awesome. I'm hoping to get there myself."
Yeah, I think once you start to dream again, that's when you realize that your body may be in harmony.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people don't dream, and it may just be a lot of just dysfunction in our bodies, and it's just going on that just doesn't allow us to remember our dreams or have dreams at all.
Love you too, Ted. Good night, Michelle. Good night, Cindy.
Yeah, we'll see you guys later. And as always, don't forget to love yourself. And don't forget to forgive yourself. With that, anything is possible. So we'll see you guys later.
I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
There you go. Good night.
Draw me closer to your side. Take your page out of my story. I don't mind. No. Keep it steady, never falter.